Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm actually filming my eyeshadow palette declutter. This was much needed. My eyeshadow palette drawer was crazy. It's actually this drawer on the bottom. It literally would not shut, so I had to go through my palettes and go ahead and declutter some of the ones I'm just not super excited about or I'm not using anymore, so I can really curate my eyeshadow palette collection. And you guys know there's always new palettes that I'm going to want to make room for as well, so out with the old, in with the new. I also always get questions on what I do with my palettes, and I do put quite a few of them on Poshmark that I purchased myself, and I give to my friends and family as well, but I wanted to get you guys something as well for being amazing and super supportive on my channel. And I wanted to give away some eyeshadow palettes, a couple of my really favorite palettes, plus some extras. So let me show you guys the giveaway real quick before I get into the declutter. So one of you guys is going to win all of these eyeshadow palettes. Included, we have this gorgeous Pixie and Tina Young palette, this Ciate London bronzed palette, one of my favorites, Naked Wild West from Urban Decay, the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Instant Eye palette, my all-time favorite neutral palette, which is so pricey, but I got one for you guys. It's the Patrick Ta Major Dimension, and this full-size ABH Norvina Volume 1. So I'm giving away all those palettes to one of you guys. This giveaway will end a week from today, and it is open internationally. To enter, you must be subscribed to my channel, of course. Comment down below what your favorite eyeshadow palette is right now, or if you can't think of your favorite, you can list a few. I'm always super curious to know, and please follow me on Instagram as well for another entry. But that is all you have to do. Thank you guys so much for being so amazing. I wanted to give you guys some amazing palettes as well, but let's go ahead and get into my declutter. Alright guys, so I went ahead and organized my palettes by brand. You'll probably see my kitten Cash make an appearance here. He's super clingy, so he'll probably be in the video a little bit. He's sitting right here. I don't know if he's in the camera, but I went ahead and organized these by brand just to kind of make it easier for the decluttering process. So we're going to start front to back. I do have more palettes, like my ColourPop ones I'll do at the end, and then I have some single ones, so I just have one from a certain brand, so those will be towards the end as well. But let's go ahead and start with these from the brand Pure. So right now I have 3 palettes from Pure. I know for sure I do want to keep my Pure Raw Beauty Christy palette. I really like this. I wish I used it a little bit more than I do. It kind of gets thrown in the bottom of my drawer and I forget about it, but it is gorgeous. I love that it has these beautiful shades, like the fun colorful and then the neutral, and I think it's great quality. So I do want to go ahead and hold on to this one. I do have the Pure Barbie palette as well. Kind of was keeping it for nostalgic reasons since it is Barbie. I will say, now that ColourPop has done a Barbie collection, I do prefer ColourPop's Barbie palette. This one, it's pretty, but it's also kind of just basic and boring to me. And it's okay quality, but I don't love Pure's mattes in this palette very much. I think in the Raw Beauty Christy, they have a great matte formula, but these are just okay to me, so I think I am going to declutter the Pure Barbie palette. And I was kind of collecting these little Trolls palettes for a while, and I went a little crazy with them since they were so cheap at TJ Maxx, but I haven't really been reaching for them color-wise. They're really cute. I like that they have the little color story, but as far as if I'm using it, I really don't. So I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I don't think these are bad palettes at all, especially if you can get them at a discount, but I'm just not really super into them as much as I was in the beginning of the year. So this section is a little bit hard. These are my Alter Ego palettes. I have 3 of them in my collection right now. I actually have one more that they sent in PR. That was a dupe for the Glam palette, which I haven't tried yet, so I don't have that in this video. But these are kind of a hard decision for me because these are dupe palettes. So Alter Ego typically dupes Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath. So essentially I already have the original palettes in my collection, and I do reach for the original palette more, like the Natasha Denona, because I love their quality, but I don't think that these are bad at all. But I kind of don't like keeping certain palettes in my collection that I'm not using, even if it is for future videos. I just feel like it's wasteful to have it just sit there, so that's why I'm just really torn on these, and I've done videos on them and I think they're great dupes. I do know I can get rid of Blooms. I'm not a huge fan of this one. It's a dupe for Natasha Denona Love, but I just don't think it's a spot-on dupe. I didn't love the quality of this one. I feel like it wasn't as good, so I can declutter that. I did like this Luster one too. It's a dupe for Pat McGrath, I think Divine Rose or something like that. But I don't know, I just don't see myself reaching for these, so I don't think I need to hold on to these. Next up, we have NARS. So I have 3 NARS palettes in my collection, and I'm really not a huge fan of NARS. I don't know. I'm trying to get into them, but there's something about their eyeshadow formula that I just don't vibe with. This palette in particular, I've tried a couple times. I'm not a huge fan of the quality. I do pick up a lot of my NARS discounted at TJ Maxx, which is nice. So I probably got these for like half off, but I still don't know if it, like this one in particular, was worth it. This is Hot Nights. It's a face palette. I thought that these shades were so dusty. I did not think this was good quality at all. So as much as I would have loved it because it's a nice all-in-one palette with the bronzer, highlight, and eyeshadows, I did not like it. So I'm going to declutter that one. Now this one is the Ignited, and I did like one look with this and it was stunning, using this really pretty glitter. I do wish that it had a darker matte in here though. That's kind of what it's missing for me, but the shimmers in here are beautiful. I do have this one as well, which I haven't really had a chance to use yet because it's been in my need to use drawer, and sometimes with that drawer I forget about those things, so I would like to move these into my actual collection. But this one's gorgeous. It's called Cool Crush. Another TJ Maxx find. I think this is such a pretty color story, so I would still like to go ahead and try this one and see how the formula is. So I'm going to keep this one for sure. As far as this purple palette goes, I'm not sure if I'm ready to let this one go yet because I love those glittery shades in here. So for now, this one's going to be a keep. I only have 2 Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I'm trying to build up my Charlotte Tilbury collection because after I got this face palette from them, I really fell in love with this. This is the Instant Look of Love. And this technically is face palette and eye palette, but I put it in my eyeshadow palette collection. Absolutely love this. It's very basic, but it's like everything you need for your daily look. So perfect for quick, easy makeup, travel makeup, whatever. I really like it, and the quality is great. So I'm definitely keeping this, and I am going to order a couple more Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I also have this one. This is the Easy Eye palette, I think it's called. I think I got this in a mystery box. Very warm toned neutrals, kind of similar shades to what I have in here. Maybe a little bit more rosy, but kind of a similar vibe. I think since they're, for me, a little too similar, I am going to keep my Instant Look palette, and I will declutter this because I have 2 other Charlotte Tilbury palettes that I have on the way that I got on a discount on their website. So we're going to declutter this Easy Eye palette. Alright, I have 2 Nabla palettes here. Recently just tried out this Cutie palette, and I don't think it's my favorite cool tone palette. I love Nabla's formula, especially in this Secret palette, but I don't know, this mini one I didn't think was too amazing for me. I have so many other cool tone palettes that I like a little bit more. I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter it, honestly. And then my Secret palette, this is really beautiful, and I really like the color story here. It's very unique, so I am going to hold on to the Secret palette. This is how I kind of fell in love with Nabla's shadows, and I definitely want to get more. I'm just unsure if I like the mini palettes from them. These are some randoms I threw in here, just singles. I have like only one from each brand. So we have the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. You guys know I love this so much. It's one of my favorite neutral palettes. So good. Definitely staying. We have my Adept Ninhydrin. I don't get as much use out of this as I wish I did. I still want to use it a bit more. These duochromes are insane in here. I'll do a little swatchy swatch for you guys so you can see the amazingness that is Adept. But oh my goodness, it's so unique and pretty. I think they're coming out with another eyeshadow palette soon, so I am going to hold on to this though because I think it is so unique and stunning. Just one of the most unique palettes in my collection for sure, but it's definitely more of like a lid color type of shade. Like there's only 2 mattes in here, and I feel like it's a little bit hard to build looks with those, but I am going to keep this one. And then we have my Melt Mary Jane palette. A lot of people don't like this one, but I actually like it. I know, I'm like one of the only ones. I think it's such a pretty grungy palette. The shimmers in here are definitely kind of textured, so not a lot of people like those like glittery type of shades, but I really do. It's so pretty for a smoky eye, and I always get compliments when I wear this palette. I think it's beautiful. I don't mind the matte formula. They're a little bit hard to blend, but they're super pigmented, so if you're just taking it slow and careful, I think it's great. And the packaging is beautiful, so I am keeping my Melt Pat. I like that one a lot. Here is some more single brand ones. I have one palette from Lawless. This is the Baby One palette. It's really cute. I don't think it's like outstanding quality or anything by any means, but it's kind of nice to have, and I like having at least like one eyeshadow palette from the brand. I want to use this a little bit more because I feel like I've only used this twice. I think I'm going to hold on to it. I do like the color scheme, and I'd like to try it a bit more with the mattes in here. It kind of reminds me of like a mini Anastasia Modern Renaissance. I have this from Laura Mercier. I'm definitely going to declutter this one. It's just kind of random. I got it from them last holiday. It has like these creamy eyeshadows, but they're not super pigmented. So I just didn't really see a use for this one at all. It's called the Prima Ballerina. I will declutter this. I would love Laura Mercier to really step up their eyeshadow game. That's something I feel like they kind of need to work on. I have this Koki Artist palette in Goddess. This is actually a really pretty palette. Very pretty warm tones. I do like the quality of this one. Koki has some great eyeshadows, and they're pretty affordable. So I would like to have at least one palette from them. This is my only one, so I think I'm going to keep it. This Wander Beauty palette, I do not like their shadows. They always come out with these color stories where it's all very light. Like this only really works for fair to light skin tones, and it's like that with a lot of their palettes. They do have really pretty shimmers, but their mattes are really lacking for me in pigment. So I'm going to declutter that one. All right, moving on to the next row. We have some of my Huda Beauty palettes. I have a mixture of their small palettes and larger palettes. I'm a pretty big fan of the brand, but don't get me wrong, their stuff can be very hit or miss. So we'll start with my large palettes. I do have the Mercury Retrograde. Absolutely love this one. So pretty. I love this one for spring and summer especially. The pastels are just beautiful. This one does go on sale a lot, so you can usually score it for like half off. I'm keeping. Now, the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered, this is one I definitely haven't touched. I got this, I think, in an Ipsy, and I just haven't felt the need to reach for this. I kind of want to try it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it in my collection. Let me know if you guys like this one. I do love this one though. So this is the Naughty. I use this so much. It's so messy, but it's stunning. I love this, especially for fall and winter. It's my perfect warm tone neutral palette with these beautiful shimmers mixed in with the mattes. Just beautiful. So I'm going to keep, of course. I have the Chocolate Brown Obsessions. I actually really like this one too. It's a nice warm tone, deeper chocolatey neutral palette. I'm going to keep. The Nude Light, I think I'm finally going to declutter this. I just don't get hardly any use out of it, and I feel like it's a little too light for me. It didn't wow me, so this one's going to go. I would like to get like the medium or the deeper version in this collection. I have Khaki Haze. I have held on to this one. I think I still want to keep it. I don't think it's the best quality by any means, but I really like this color story, and I can definitely make it work, so I'm going to hold on to it for now. The Pastel Lilac, I don't think I used this, but I feel like I've heard really mixed reviews on these. I think I have these shades in my Mercury Retrograde, very similar at least, so I'm going to declutter. And then I have this Emerald Green Obsession, still one that I think I do want to use. It's a really pretty green color scheme, so I want to hold on to that. I don't know why. I need to play with color more. I need to do better at that, so that is my goal for the rest of this year. We have the Toffee Brown. I will go ahead and hold on to that one as well. Another nice neutral with some golds in there. This is going to be so pretty for fall. It just reminds me of like fall leaves. This gold palette I'm kind of having a hard time with because it's so beautiful, but I didn't think the quality was very up to par as some of her other palettes are. A lot of the shades look very similar on the eyes, although I do love the golds in here. They're stunning. I'm gonna declutter it. It's just, I didn't love the quality. And then I do have the Amethyst Obsessions. Another one that I haven't really used, but a part of me wants to keep it. But at the same time, I do have a lot of purple palettes that I use a bit more, but my birthstone is amethyst, so I feel like I have to keep this one. I'm kind of drawn to it, so I don't think I'm ready to get rid of this one yet. So I'm gonna keep it. Okay, next we have BH, one of my new favorite brands. So I probably won't get rid of too many here. I have the Blueberry Muffin palette. So many people rave about this. It's absolutely stunning. This color story is so unique and pretty. Their mattes are really beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and keep. I just got this Smitten in Switzerland. I love their travel series. This one is stunning. Like, the color story is very fall. I just picked this up at Marshall's literally last week, so I haven't used it yet. So I'm going to keep it. I do have this Love in London. So annoyed. I did crack the mirror on this one. It's just some pretty cool tones, but I'm trying to decide if I really need this color story. I picked that one up at Ross for really cheap. Kind of in a way reminds me of the Blueberry Muffin for those cooler blue tones, but I'm kind of struggling with this one. I think I want to hold on to it a little bit longer. I'm keeping all of these. Chillin' in Chicago, I'm keeping this one too. She's stunning. It's actually the same palette as the new Amalfi one, which I didn't realize. Literally the exact same one. I love this, especially because it is Chicago themed. I go to Chicago a lot, so it brings back memories. It's pretty close to Iowa, and they have a shade called Wrigleyville, and I'm a huge Cubs fan, so I love that. So I'm gonna keep it. We also have the Avocado Toast. This is a gorgeous green palette. Keeping it, of course, so I kept all my BH palettes. Okay, I have some Ofra palettes here in my collection. This first one is New Solstice. I don't use this one a whole lot. It's very neutral, kind of boring. I think I can declutter it. I have Samantha March's palette, Life's a Draft. This one's really pretty with the purple tones, so I do want to keep. I have this Humongous Pro palette that I never use. I don't reach for huge palettes like this a whole lot, so I'm going to declutter this one. I have Leora's palette, and this one I love for fall, so I'm definitely keeping it. I know you can't really get it anymore, but it's a pretty one, so I'm going to hold on to it. I think some of those shades are permanent though in there if you want to get singles. And then I have this Empowered palette, which is super unique. I do wish the shades were a bit darker like the matte ones, but it's really pretty. So I'm gonna keep it just because it's a really unique color story and I like greens a lot. Okay, Buxom. I have 3 Buxom palettes. I'm not a huge fan of Buxom eyeshadows, but I will say this new one with Ash K. Holm is really good. So this is a collab palette, definitely one of their best palettes they've done. It was really pretty, so I do want to hold on to that. And the Tiki Bar, really cute theming on this one, but I don't really care for the eyeshadows in here. I need a darker matte, and I tried using this shade called Throwing Shade, and it was absolutely terrible on the eyes, so we're decluttering. Also, White Russian. This one is just too boring for me. I love a good boring neutral palette, but this is too light. Just not a whole lot I can do with it, so I'm gonna declutter the White Russian. Alright, we have my 2 Tarte palettes. My Tarte collection has definitely dwindled down, but this palette is one of my favorites. This is the Tartelette Juicy palette, and yes, it is boring and it might not be super crazy metallic to some, but to me, I love it. It's so perfect for everyday looks. If you're expecting like super metallic shimmers, you don't really get that except for like this shade. Dawn is very metallic, and then Reflect, gorgeous. This is a dupe for their Aspen Over palette that so many people love because it has these neutrally gold tones down here and then the pinks on top. I love my Juicy, so I'm keeping. I think you can still get the big one on Sephora. As far as this pretty basic palette goes, this is pretty boring. I did a review on it and I wasn't like that impressed at all. Not too exciting, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. Next we have Wet n Wild. I've been kind of testing out a lot of their palettes this year. I will keep this one. I really like it. It's the Color Icon palette. It's like super cheap. I rubbed off the name of this one, but I found this one at Walmart, I think. It's really good. The shimmers are really pretty in here, so I'm going to keep it. This one here is called Lights Off from that same collection. This one, I feel like the mattes are a little bit harder to work with, but it does create gorgeous looks. Their metallics are so pretty. I think I will keep that one too. Now, you guys, if you watched my video on this collection, I wasn't very impressed with the Saved by the Bell Squad Goals palette, so I think I'm gonna declutter this one. I don't know, it just wasn't very impressive. I felt like the mattes just were not great. The shimmers were super light in here, so I'm gonna declutter. I think that these 10 pans are way better. But I do really like my SpongeBob one, so I am going to keep it. The Nautical Nonsense, this one is really pretty, and I feel like this one's decent quality too. I have a lot of Tom Ford palettes, which is crazy. I have this many because I just started getting some this year, but since I discovered the cosmetics company store, I always buy a Tom Ford palette every time there because you can get them there for like 30 bucks, so very inexpensive for Tom Ford. They're usually like 75, 80. But there's definitely hits and misses with these. Like, there's some that are impressive, and then there's some that are just so not great in my opinion. So I'm going to declutter some of these for sure. First up, we have Orchid Haze. This is a purple palette. I was very, very underwhelmed with this one. This is going to be decluttered. I did not like the pigment. I've heard their wet dry formula is the best, but I don't know which one is which, to be honest. I have the Nude Dip. Now this one is great. I love Nude Dip. This one is their wet dry formula. I wonder, maybe the ones with the TF means it's wet dry. So those seem to be good. I am going to keep Nude Dip. This one is Soleil et Lune. And this one's actually really pretty, very unique. I love the mint in this one, so I think I'm going to keep it. Again, it must be the wet dry formula. I got a scratch on this one. I must have hit another palette. This is Leopard Sun. I think I'm going to declutter that one as well. Then I have Virgin Orchid. I don't know if I've used this a lot. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to it since it seems to be the wet dry formula. So they perform better wet, so I'm going to keep it. And then I have the Supernova, which I hated this one. I thought it was so bad. Pigment is terrible. So Tom Ford just seems to be very hit or miss with me. Next brand we have is Lunar Beauty. I've really fallen in love with Manny's brand. It's so good. You guys, their palettes, love, love, love. This is Eternal Eclipse, a gorgeous cool tone blue palette. Love this one for fall and winter. Absolutely keeping. I have Strawberry Dream as well. I really don't get a lot of use out of this one. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let this one go. I'm sad to do it, but I've tried to use this, but it's not my type of colors. It's a little bit hard for me to do looks with it, so I'm gonna declutter. I do love this one as well, the Moonspell, perfect for Halloween. This is such a good palette. He named it after different witches on like different TVs and movies. So fun. They have great customer service. Definitely keeping the Moonspell palette. Next, we have my Anastasia palettes here. I have a mixture of their regular palettes and their Norvina collection. Anastasia is a brand I used to be super obsessed with, and I'm starting to get back into them again. They definitely aren't what they used to be, but they do have great eyeshadows. Like Soft Glam, I think this is going to be in my collection forever. It's just the perfect warm neutral palette, so I have to keep it. No matter how old it is, I'm going to keep it probably. Jackie Ina's palette, I will say, I don't really reach for this one at all. So I think I'm going to let it go. It's gorgeous, but it's just not a color scheme that I use a ton. So I'm going to declutter that one. I will be keeping Sultry though. This is another classic for me. So pretty with the cool tones in here, so I have to hold on to this. This one's really similar to Natasha Denona Glam. I have the Norvina pink palette. I think I might let this one go, surprisingly, but it's because I bought this one and I like this one more. This is the lilac version, and I feel like I get similar shades in these. Norvina Volume 4 is just more pink tone, but I do go for the purples a little bit more. So I'm going to keep the Volume 5. Just got this one in a boxy charm and I need to use it, but it's so pretty for fall. Like, this color story is so unique. I want to test this out, so I'm going to hold on to that one. Next up is Pat McGrath. It looks like I have 4 of her palettes. I don't know if I'm going to declutter any of these. We'll see. I try to buy her palettes on a discount unless it's a palette that I'm just in love with, like the Utopian Dreams one. I think is stunning. So this first one I believe is Mothership 7 Divine Rose. This is the one that kind of started the Divine Rose hype. This one is definitely one of her most neutral palettes and it's my favorite, so I'm gonna keep. Next up we have the Mothership 6. So this must have came out just before. I still have not used this one. I got this one almost like 30% off on her website when she did a sale. She always runs sales, so you definitely don't have to pay it full price. But look at the color scheme though, it looks so pretty. I think I'm gonna keep that one because I want to test it out. This one is Mothership 5, another really pretty neutral palette, so I do want to keep. She has a beautiful formula, but sometimes I don't know if it's worth $130, but if you can get a discount, I would say go for it. I think this is the first one. I will say I'm not as impressed with this one. I thought I was gonna love it because of the cool tones, but I don't know. I've used it about twice and I'm just gonna keep it for now because I want to get a couple more uses out of it because I think these are so unique and I still haven't used like this fun shifty duochrome shade, so I am going to keep that. So I guess we didn't declutter any Pat McGrath today. Alright, next section. These are all my Sydney Grace eyeshadows. I recently just did my recent Sydney Grace haul if you guys want to check that out, but I really love this brand. I have this Chase Your Dreams palette I bought last year, but I haven't really reached for this. I think I am going to declutter this one, surprisingly. It's pretty, but I do have some other purples that I like a bit more. I do have the Summer Days neutral palette. Let me compare it to Coffee Talk. These are both neutral. So, ooh, that's pretty though. This is Summer Days and this is Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk's a little bit cooler. Summer Days is kind of like the warm version. I think I'm gonna keep both of those for now. I just really like their neutrals, and I just got Sweet Indulgence, so I do want to keep that one, a little bit more colorful pastels. I do have my Temptalia palettes from them and they are pretty, but it's definitely not something I'm really reaching for color scheme wise. I feel like they're really hard for me to use. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I think I am going to declutter this one. This one is the Quintessence. It's pretty, but it's hard for me, so I'm going to declutter that one. I do like this one a little bit more. This one is called On the Horizon, and I do like this color scheme a bit more. It's a little bit more wearable, so I'm going to keep that one. Enduring Love. This is probably my favorite palette from Sydney Grace. Absolutely beautiful colors in here. Cool tones, some purples mixed in. Love this palette so much, so keeping. And I also really love the Tiny Marvels from Mel Thompson. I broke my mirror, so I tried to take it out of here, so that's why mine looks like garbage. But really pretty color scheme. Love this one for spring and summer especially, but such beautiful shades in here. I am keeping. This big pile is Natasha Denona. You guys know I love Natasha Denona eyeshadows. I buy almost every launch from her for eyeshadow wise, but I have some here that have been like untouched, so I really do need to at least declutter some of these. Let me do my minis first. I just got the mini Xenon. I didn't give it the best review, but it's still a nice palette, so I am going to keep. I love the silver in there. I'm keeping pretty much all of these. Mini Retro is staying with me. It's so good. Also, Mini Love. I absolutely love this Mini Love. I have the Mini Gold. I will say I haven't used this one a lot. It's kind of greeny tones, but I do want to keep it. The Mini Glam is one of my favorites. It's so interesting that they have this Mini Glam and then the regular Glam. I don't feel like they match. Like sometimes her minis don't match up with the full size, but this is so pretty. This is more warm tone neutrals, but I use it a lot. And then I do have this Mini Star, which I will also be keeping that one. So keeping the minis. Now these medium ones, I get these in BoxyCharm a lot, and they've been in my palette drawer of new palettes I haven't used yet, so that's why they're untouched. But I think I will declutter this one. I think the color scheme is pretty, but it's going to be hard for me to do looks with this. I honestly just want to keep it for the yellow, but there's no reason for me to do that. I'm going to go ahead and declutter the Jubilee. This is the Coral palette. I'm undecided on that one, but I do want to keep this Ayana one. It's like really pretty neutral, so I'm going to keep Ayana. I don't know if I have many corals. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it similar to Zendo? It kind of is similar to Zendo, honestly. Okay, maybe I will declutter this one. I am going to keep Zendo. I do really like this palette, even though it has more of those cream to powder mattes, which isn't always my favorite. I still think it's beautiful. So keeping Zendo, keeping Bronze. This one is one of my favorite warm tone palettes. And you guys know this is like my favorite palette of all time. The Glam eyeshadow palette. So stunning, beautiful, cool tones, but not too grayish cool, just everyday neutrals. Also, I love my gold palette. You guys can see I love my neutrals from Natasha. Such a stunning one. This is one of her more expensive ones, but it's completely worth it to me. So good. Trio Chrome. This one I kind of do regret buying because I don't use it a lot. I think the quality is great, but her duochromes aren't really that great compared to some indie brands, so I'm kind of indecisive of what I want to do with this one, but I feel like I'm not ready to let it go quite yet, so I'm gonna keep it. I just got the Love palette this year as well. I haven't got to use this a lot. It kind of reminds me of the Lila. I've had Lila forever, but I never use this one anymore, so I think I am going to declutter Lila, and I'm going to keep the Love palette. They're kind of similar in a way. I prefer these middle ones. I don't know, I feel like they're great quality. The Lila, I feel like, is one of like her first ones she did, and I don't think it's as good quality as some of my newer ones. Alright, next we have these Glam Light palettes. I've recently started getting into their stuff this year. I got this one in a mystery box, kind of a neutral palette from them. And I also have this donut one. I definitely want to declutter this one. I don't see myself using it. It's this pastel one. I have the Michaela palette. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this one yet, but I still need to use this. It's so pretty. Like the colors in here, it's like you get every color of the rainbow pretty much. So I definitely want to keep this and use it. I just got that recently. As far as the chocolate donut goes, I don't know. I feel like I'm not really drawn to this one as much as I am some of my other neutral palettes, so I think I'm going to declutter it. Alright, so we have this row, and then we still have a few more, so this is not just it, but I have my Juvia's Place palettes here. I don't love their formula. I feel like I'm one of the only people who don't like it that much, especially their mini palettes just don't work that great for me. I have this Sweet Pinks one. It's a little too out there and bright for my liking, so I'm going to declutter. The Mauves one, I do like this color story a bit more. I think I will hold on to Mauves. And then the Violets, I want to declutter this one. I didn't really care for the formula at all. Their mattes are just so dry to me. Ugh, I don't know. So many people rave about them. I will say this Wahala 2 palette is really beautiful, so I do want to keep it. It's so colorful and stunning, so I definitely recommend the Juvia's Place a large palette, so I'm going to keep that one. I have my Odin's Eye collection, which is growing. I just got on their PR list recently, but I really do enjoy their eyeshadows. I purchased a couple myself. First is the Saga of Freya collection, and I have this cat palette. It's like Cat's Breath. I do want to keep that one. It has really pretty greens and oranges. It's a very unique color story. I have this Saga palette as well. This one's a double-sided one, so you have more neutrals and you have kind of that similar bronzy greenish color story. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this one. I think I can let this one go because it's kind of similar to the other ones I have in my collection from them, so I'm going to declutter the Saga book palette. This one is the Tears of Freya. This one I haven't even used it, so I think I might put this one in a giveaway. I haven't even swatched it or anything, and I just have some similar palettes already to this. This is new in my collection, the Alva 2. I've been wanting this forever. Look how pretty are these pastels. I finally got this one, so I haven't used it yet. I'm gonna keep it though because the colors are beautiful, and this one is gorgeous as well. I love this color scheme. It's like super pretty pinky rose tones, so this one is staying with me. This is the Alva original, and then the Norns palette is beautiful too, so I'm definitely keeping Norns. This one I love for winter. It's like super icy kind of cooler tones, stunning. All right, next we have my Too Faced collection, which used to be so much bigger. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy how I used to be so obsessed with this brand. I like collected all their stuff, and now I don't mind getting rid of their stuff anymore. I don't know, they're still nice. I still have a love for Too Faced, but they definitely aren't what they used to be in my opinion, but they have come out with some really good stuff. Let's do the mini palettes first. I have Salted Caramel. This one, I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I bought this last holiday and I really haven't used it a whole lot. I don't love orangey tones that much for me, so I'm going to declutter Salted Caramel. Also, that's my jam. I'm also decluttering this one. It was okay, but I have an exact dupe in my ColourPop palettes. I think it's the Animal Crossing purple palette, which is pretty much the exact same shades. Again, just okay. The mini palettes just are okay, not like amazing. I will keep Shake Your Pom Poms. This one's a nice neutral toned one, so I do like that one. And Hot Buttered Rum, also I really like this one too. This one's gorgeous. It came out 2 holidays ago, but it's just a nice warm neutral palette. Okay, the Teddy Bear. This one's really cute, but the colors are pretty much identical to what I have in the Tarte Juicy. I did a comparison of them in this review, actually. It's just okay. I'm not that impressed, so declutter for that one. Sweet Peach is going to be in my collection for life, even if it is old. Maybe I won't use it anymore, but I have to have it. I have such good memories with this palette. It was one of my first PR packages I received, and this collection was huge at the time, so it meant a lot to me. But I'm keeping Sweet Peach. I really want Too Faced to do a round 2. I know everyone's sick of the peach things, but I want them to do a peach palette too. I have Pumpkin Spice. You guys know how much I love this. This came out last year. Such a good palette. It's amazing quality from them, so this is staying with me. Hopefully they re-release it for fall, but they'll definitely be coming out with something else. And the Natural Nudes, I do want to keep this one. This is a great quality palette from Too Faced. Their new stuff is definitely best. And then Gingerbread Extra Spicy, I am going to keep that one too. I have really good memories with this palette. I remember getting this at Sephora. They had a Sephora event a couple years ago, and I was able to get this early, and I don't know, I just have really good memories with this one, so I'm going to keep it. Okay, next up we have these 2 palettes from an indie brand. What is it called? Give Me Glow. Everyone was raving about this brand, and I got a couple palettes from them, and I'm kind of not that impressed, to be honest, which is surprising. This is the Vivid Rose from them. Gorgeous colors. I would say their shimmers are beautiful, but their mattes I hate. Like, I hate and despise them. They're so hard to blend. I don't know. I'm not loving it, so I'm going to declutter this. And their shadow pans are absolutely huge, so I guess I'm kind of done with this brand. I try to try out some different indie brands, so let me know if you guys have any suggestions too. This Christmas Morning palette was really pretty as well. Like, the colors are definitely Christmassy. But that green though, it took me so long to blend. So although the shimmers are beautiful, I don't want to keep this for the shimmers alone. So I think I am going to declutter this. Kaleidos, I have 2 palettes from them. Club Nebula, love this one. Such good quality, really easy to work with and use. This is Angelica Nyqvist collab. I don't know if this is going to be re-promoted anymore, but I do want to keep that in my collection. And I also bought the Flower Punk palette since I loved the other one so much. Here's the thing with this one. I think it's really pretty, but I'm struggling to come up with looks with this one. Like, it's really hard for me, surprisingly. I tried to mix the pinks and the mints, and I just don't love what I'm coming up with when I'm playing with this one. So I'm going to declutter Flower Punk. Okay, next we have Urban Decay. First up, I have their Stoned Vibes palette. I know this is very hit or miss with people. I love the shimmers in here, but the mattes kind of suck, honestly. And for me, I don't like to reach into more than one palette. I just want to reach into one, but I really wish they did a better job with those mattes. It's really hard for me to declutter this though, because it's so stunning. Like, the shimmers are beautiful, especially if you like glitters. Okay, Naked Reloaded. I think I am ready to say goodbye to this one. I do like it, but it's pretty much the same as the Anastasia Sultry palette, which I do prefer sultry, so I'm going to declutter. I do like Urban Decay, but sometimes their shimmers aren't always like the best, like the most metallic. Now, Naked Honey I do love. I love golds, so I am going to keep Naked Honey in my collection. Naked Cherry, I've kind of been a little bit connected to in a way, or I have a hard time decluttering this even though I don't really use it. A lot of the looks with this one look super similar on the eyes. I just have a really hard time decluttering it because I have really good memories with this one. It's in a maybe pile right now for me, but I will keep Naked Wild West. I love this one. So pretty, really good palette. You can do a ton of different looks, warm looks, cool looks, blue looks. I love it. So keeping Wild West, but I'm really struggling with this, so I think that means I need to keep it a little bit longer in my collection. Next, I have a bunch of e.l.f. palettes. I have a bunch of their bite-sized palettes, which got really popular in the last year. Let me start with, though, my full-size one. This is the Chipotle palette. Super cute. I really like the concept of this one. I think I need to keep that. It's so cute. As far as the mini palettes go, I will say the mint ones, absolutely garbage. I did not like these at all. The shimmers are pretty, but the mattes are terrible in those, so I'm going to declutter. The pumpkin pie bite size, this is probably my favorite, so I'm going to keep it. I do want to keep this hot jalapeno one as well. It's so pretty. I don't know, you guys. I might have to hold on to the rest of these. I don't know. I'm not ready to get rid of them, so I'm going to keep all of those. I'm just going to get rid of the mint ones. Alright, these are the only Jeffree Star palettes I have left anymore, surprisingly, but yeah, I've kind of just, you know, there's been drama. I've fallen out of love with the brand as much as I used to be. The palettes are beautiful. The formula is beautiful, but sometimes their color stories are a bit much for me and hard to work with. So, Cremated, really pretty palette, but it's really gray tones. And I kept my Melt palette. I have the Natasha Denona Xenon palette, so I think I can let this one go because I'm just not using it. It's very repetitive in my opinion. Like, it really did not need this many shades. And then Jawbreaker, I've been keeping because of the pastels. Like, it has a lot of beautiful colors in it, but again, I don't reach for this one. I would rather have an all-in-one palette that maybe has a few more shimmers in it, so I'm gonna let that go. And that's all my Jeffree palettes, so now we don't have any, which is totally fine. Over here, I have Laura Lee Los Angeles. I just got the Candy Skies palette from her. Now, this is really pretty pastels again, so really like the formula of these. It's such a gorgeous palette, and you get beautiful, unique shimmers in here, so I'm going to keep that one. I did get this in a mystery box. It's like a little singles palette from her with her single shadows. I will declutter this because I know I'm not going to use those. And then we have Marc Jacobs, which we finally got word on what's going on with Marc Jacobs. I've been wondering if they're closing, but they are, I think, being sold to a new brand or owner. So they're not a part of, I think they were part of the Sephora brand, or Louis Vuitton I think owns it. I don't know, I could be wrong, or is it Kendo? But I think they're rebranding and redoing a lot of their makeup, so I feel like they're going to have all new stuff. So I don't really know if I want to keep all their old things. Like, I do like their palettes, but I haven't been gravitating towards them. I got this Extravagance one at TJ Maxx, and this one, it's gorgeous, but it's lacking a dark matte brown for me, so I will be decluttering. Hello, Cash. He's checking it out too. I'm going to declutter the Extravagance. The Cherry, this one's really pretty, but it's very similar to the Urban Decay one, and I kept that, so I will declutter. And then I might declutter this one too, the Stiletto. I don't know, I'm just kind of over these palettes at this point, so I'm going to declutter that one. I'm curious to see what Marc Jacobs is going to come out with in the future. Alright, this next pile, this is just single brand things, so I don't have multiples of, so we'll go through these. I feel like I'm going to declutter quite a few. We'll see. First is this State Cosmetics and Bailey Sarian palette, Venice Fling. I got this in an Ipsy. I think I'm going to declare this. It's just kind of a basic palette that I already have in my collection. I have this Hearts of Nude by With Love Cosmetics. I do want to keep this one just to try out the brand. I haven't used it a ton. I've only done swatches so far, and I like that the little pans are hearts. I think that's so cute. That's like a more indie brand. They do really pretty glitters. Actually, I have quite a few of their glitters in this palette. This is just a Z palette, I guess you would call it. I got it on Amazon. It's pretty mermaid print. These glitters are from that same With Love Cosmetics brand, and they're really gorgeous. And then I have some of my Cleona duochromes as well in here. So, I mean, this is just a variety, so I'm keeping that. And then I'm keeping this single palette one because this is my Sydney Grace. Kind of a mixture of a lot of stuff, but mostly Sydney Grace, so we'll keep that. I have the Beauty Crop Sangria palette. I really have a hard time using my subscription box palettes that I get. This one I got in an Ipsy. I think it's just because like I don't pick them out myself, so I don't really feel drawn to them in a way. So I think I will declutter this one from the Beauty Crop. This Carter Beauty one, this is a new brand that's at some Walmarts. It's like an Irish brand. It's actually really pretty. Like the quality is really good. I'll have to link it down below maybe. But I'm going to keep that one and try out the brand a bit more. Maybe I'll do like an Instagram video using a full face of Carter Beauty. This Lorac Pro Noir, I've only used this like once, but look at these colors. They're really pretty cool tones, which you guys know I love. I'm going to hold on to that, and I need to use this more. I think I got it on a deal on Ulta. This Violet Voss Olive You Forever, terrible palette. It's not often I say a palette is terrible, but this one really is terrible. The shadows like literally lose pigment on the eyes, like they like go away. It's so odd. I'm going to declutter for sure. I just don't like Violet Voss anymore. We have my Artist Couture Supreme Nudes. This is a gorgeous neutral palette. I will be keeping this one in my collection. I like it a lot. I need to try more from them. I know they recently came out with some other eyeshadow palettes, but this is a really good nude palette that kind of looks like the Anastasia and Makeup by Mario palette. I have this mini Vizier one, which is still in the box. I might keep this one. I got it in an Ipsy. I'm going to keep that because I haven't used it. This Iconic London one, it's cute, but these are so bulky and huge in my collection. It's already getting marks on it. Iconic London's okay for their eyeshadows, but it kind of reminds me of Violet Voss in a way. I'm going to declutter. I got this Lime Crime Venus XL palette. I actually got this at TJ Maxx. Still need to use this one, so I need to put that one in my palette drawer because it's been sitting in my new one. Again, it's so hard for me to remember to use palettes out of there, so I am going to keep it though. And then this one too from LA Girl. It's also one that I've kind of only swatched. I haven't really played around with it, but I think the colors in here are so beautiful, so I do want to keep it. Look how pretty that is. It's called Break Free. And I also have this Revolution palette, which is like these greens. I'm not a big fan of Revolution's eyeshadows, though, at least the ones that are older like this. I don't know, they just really didn't impress me much. Let me know if you guys have tried any recently from them that were actually pretty good, but I'm going to declutter. I am going to declutter this mini Morphe palette as well. Found my little Kaja eyeshadow. It's okay. I got it at TJ Maxx, but the black is kind of really hard to use, very chalky. And then lastly is that Kaja little Bento Trio, the neutral moment one. This one's pretty new from them. It's all mattes, but I actually kind of like it. It's really pretty, great quality. So I am going to keep that one. Next we have my ColourPop eyeshadows. I have a lot of ColourPop, so with this I will not be decluttering any of this year's launches because I still want to do a video kind of ranking them, and then I'll declutter after that video. But that's gonna probably, I don't know if I'm gonna do it at the end of the year or what, but I'm only gonna declutter if they're like older launches, but I still might keep quite a bit. So we have the Sailor Moon eyeshadow palette. This one I'm gonna keep. I think it is stunning. I love the shades in here. California Love, one of my favorite ColourPop palettes as well. I got so much use out of this. It's pretty. I wouldn't say the quality is as good as the newer palettes. The newer palettes from ColourPop have been really great, but I don't know if I really have a neutral color scheme like this from them in my collection right now, so I think I will keep that too. That's new, Lush Life, so keep. I also love Wild Nothing. This one came out last year. It's one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. So Very Lovely is from this year. At Foresight did come out last year. This is Raw Beauty Christie's palette, but I will be holding on to it. As you can see, I'm not decluttering a lot. Liz McGuire is new. Sweet Talk. So many people love this palette from them. I personally feel like it's very similar to the Sailor Moon eyeshadow palette, so I I feel like I could probably declutter this one. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. It's in the maybe right now. Limoncello is new. Barbie is new. Powerpuff Girls, new. Lust for Dusk, that one's new this year too. Garden Variety, I think I will let this one go. I prefer the new one from this year. It's very similar. It's still very lovely. These two are really similar. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same color scheme besides the greens. So I'm going to declutter Garden Variety. The Mulan palette, I don't know if I could get rid of this. I'm kind of collecting the Disney ones at this point. It's really pretty. I really wish I could get a new one though, because it bothers me that the shade I basically can't use, but I do really like that. Hocus Pocus is staying as well. So cute. I have to keep. And another Disney one, the Midnight Masquerade, I will be keeping because I'm kind of collecting the Disney palettes. I think I will go ahead and declutter Sweet Talk, I've decided. Okay, into these. I have this Fade into Hue Big ColourPop palette. I think I will declutter this. I don't really use this at all. It's nice because it has all the colors, but I do have a lot of these in my mini palettes already, so I'm going to declutter that one. This is new, You're Golden. But So Jaded, I have not really had a chance to use this one. I don't know if I see myself using it. I think I will declutter this one as well because I haven't used it at all, even though it is pretty, but I do prefer ColourPop's newer stuff. And then this one I'm going to declutter the Truly Madly Deeply. I'm just not really into these pressed glitters anymore, so we're going to declutter that. Next drawer has some smaller palettes from ColourPop. A lot of these are fairly new from this year, so I'm mostly just going to see what I have that's older. I'm going to keep my Frozen 2. Again, I'm kind of collecting the Disney. Little Ray of Sunshine. This one is a really cute palette too. I think I want to keep. I just like it's all matte. The quality of this is gorgeous and it's very pretty fall tones. Also, I'm going to keep my Star Wars Mandalorian. Love, love, love. One of my favorite ColourPop palettes ever. Okay, these guys in the plastic packaging, I despise this packaging so much, so I don't know, I might get rid of some. We'll see here. I have Honey. I do have a really hard time decluttering this one, so I'm going to keep Honey for now because it's so cute. It's one of my favorite yellow palettes, as well as Going Coconuts. I will be holding on to this one as well. It's such a pretty neutral palette, and this one, Wild Child, came out this year, so that's going to stay. I have the ColourPop Hello Kitty and Friends. I think I can declutter this one. It's cute and all, but I did not love the quality of this one, so I will let this one go. That's Taupe. I can't remember if this came out this year or last year, but I'm gonna keep. It's My Pleasure. This one is so pretty for purple, so I have to keep that one too. Oh, I'm really struggling with the ColourPop, you guys. I love their stuff so much. I am going to also keep Meant to Be. I'm going to keep Lilac You a lot. Baby Got Peach. I am going to declutter this one. I don't really use this very much. And Cloud Spun. I also probably can declutter this one as well. I have a lot of pink palettes from them. The rest of the palettes in here are all from this year, so I'm going to be keeping all of those for now, but eventually at the end of the year I'm going to declutter some. So this is the declutter pile. I'm not going to miss any of these, I don't think, in my collection. And now I can kind of make some more room in my drawers and have it all nice and pretty. So it's been about a little over a week since I last filmed this declutter, and I've had some time to think on these, tried a couple again, and I decided to declutter a couple more. So I'm going to have the updated total here. But I just feel like I could definitely live without these. I changed my mind on the NARS, these Huda palettes, the Viseart, the BH, this Lorac. Just a couple ones that I just wasn't using or could go to a better home. And I don't think I'll get use out of because I probably have something similar in my collection already. So there is some extras that we are adding to the declutter as well. So that is it for the eyeshadow palette declutter. I'm really pleased with the results. I cannot wait to share with you my makeup collection, what is in my drawers behind me once it's all organized. But I just have a couple more declutters I would like to do, but the eyeshadow was definitely a big one. I'll have my Poshmark link down below. Some of these might have already been on there because I'm going to probably list them after I'm filming this, but thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.